Well, hello. I'm glad to see everybody with us tonight. Uh, hope everybody's doing good. Dina is here, but excuse me, she had to take the dogs out real quick. Glad to see everybody here. Um, we have every night since Michael Vaughan has did turn up missing. Every single night we have brought his case to attention, and I really felt like it could be solved. I didn't feel like it would be solved like this, but I thought it would be solved. The night that I heard that there had been a major break in the case, um, I felt it's kind of a double-edged sword. You're really hoping that he's been found alive, but I really doubted it all along. It's just been too long, and they had the evidence they had um, pointed to a stranger abduction. And when you have a stranger abduction, um, usually the FBI will tell you that if you don't find them in the first 2.5 to 3 hours, they have a greater possibility of being deceased. However, we had the a few that have been opposite of that. You know, and it turned up, made it out, made it out of this alive. I do want to start off by they're not in any particular order, but let me see if I can start off with a couple of newscasts that had would tell us a little bit about more of what's going on. Um, but go ahead and
So
start
here we
off with one of
have
these.
ISP and Fruitland Police searching a backyard of a home in Fruitland. They have a dump truck. The Chief Huff told me, and there's crime scene tape all across here, down into this area, this grassy area right here. The fire department just left, I think, and you can see they have the whole fence taken out right here. There's a dump truck back there.
Now, I'm gonna tell you what I think happened, but we'll talk about that, and we'll also talk about some legal matters that could be involved in this. We had been going over this like with the Michael Vaughan every night. We posted this out in hopes that he would be found and found alive. Earlier this week, prior to we didn't get a lot of information involved in this, other than the fact that they came out and they said uh, this one is the difference. Let me show you a different map here first. Uh, this is the location where the Vaughn's home is, and then another location the where they're searching, and this is 4 minutes away. But if you go to a larger map on it, it doesn't look that. I mean, this is a lot higher up at a lot higher altitude where this is taken from. It doesn't look real far at all right there, but in essence, it's about 4 minutes away. So you wonder if he walked there, if he was in that area and it was a crime of opportunity, or that they snatched him before. I would think probably the latter. Then he just happened to be walking by, and that's how they got it. But I'm gonna tell you, I have no evidence to back this up, other than what has happened. And as soon as Dina here, I'm gonna let her get on the computer. This thing's buffing. It has not buffed all week on anything I've done, and it buffs tonight on here. So I apologize for that. But as you know, we all had an alert on this, and I had all kinds of people that are messaging me, telling me, "Hey, take a look at this." Although I had already heard about it because I have a thing that alerts me anything involving certain cases that we have been covering. But Dana, as soon as you can get over here and look, and we got dogs outside. She just let them out to go to the bathroom. But at first heard that they had got a search warrant for a rental house and the backyard of this rental house, and notice the search warrant says every inch of the backyard, every inch of it. So that's what I've heard, that the police are going to dig up every inch of the backyard down to 3 to 4 feet. Now that's that is very deep. Usually somebody kills somebody and digs a hole, it's no more than about 2 feet. Because unless you have something like a backhoe or something like that, the ground can be extremely hard to dig in. I'm telling you, I've dug holes for, you know, uh, burying things. I remember when my father's dog, his St. Bernard, died, I got out there with a shovel and tried to dig a hole deep enough that I felt like he would need to be. And it's extremely hard. So I went and got our backhoe that we had at that time, and I dug a hole with a backhoe. I dug it about 3 or 4 feet. But people don't want it easily, discovered. So that's why they're going to do it. Now, they said an interesting thing that I heard was that they said the tip came from within the home. The tip came from within the home. And
hey guys.
So if the tip came from within the home, and I don't believe this couple had any kids, they're saying the husband gave the tip. I mean, I don't know if that is true or not, but that's what I get out of it. Did y'all gather that too? Have y'all gathered that the tip came from within the home, and that it's probably the husband that gave the tip? Now I know a lot of you are going to say, "What about spousal privilege?" And I'm going to show you the law on spousal privilege, but we want to look at also some of these. If you went over and you haven't gone over to their Facebook page, it has been live for the last week here, which I really took a lot of pictures from it because I didn't want it to go down and we'd lose all that. But this is hers at first, and some of the pictures that they had on the Facebook page, and they even had Michael Vaughan's picture also on their page, which I thought was kind of weird. They have a lot of religious type stuff on there, but that's all camouflage to me. That's all camouflage. I mean, they may be Christian and everything, but if they're killing kids and doing stuff to their bodies and doing all that kind of stuff, they're not Christian to me. This is a picture of her. This is another picture of both of them. Also, but look at this picture here on the Facebook page. It shows that white car, and I'm not seeing if anybody's inside. It looks like somebody is in the passenger side of that car. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe you can watch the comments if you see if they say anything about that. But that's similar to what they were looking for in there. And here's another picture of that white car also. It's
Sing to me said it must be a relative, and someone else said they thought it was a cousin.
Well, here's the thing. If you think about that,
I thought I saw cousin.
If we think it's a relative that did it, why isn't the husband being charged? I mean, he's been arrested, but why isn't he been arraigned and all that other stuff? They have not arraigned the husband at all and hadn't made it public. So that's why I kind of think it may be the husband. But we're going to talk about that. I mean, they've already arraigned her, and what they've done is said she refused to report a death. Well, I'm thinking they're once they find the body, then they'll charge her um
They
with
said,
murder.
Gail said they sold the car as soon as he went missing.
I don't know about that unless somebody, maybe that's how they got it, but uh,
Do you think they may have done this before?
uh,
That's from Maddie. Hello, everyone. She
I
says.
don't know. But you see him, he is not anywhere in the paperwork. I mean, that where it says that he. Now, see, here's some pictures from their Facebook page, and Michael's picture is the bottom left.
I'd like to know if that was a family picture that was put out.
I don't know. That's
My first
him.
thought was,
That's
I wonder
Michael.
if they took that picture. That'd be kind of stupid.
Yeah, but this is
But
another
they weren't.
picture of Michael that um, was in their pictures. That is him there. So you
Hey,
know,
Sleuth Mom. Welcome to
there.
everybody that's coming in. I hadn't had time to go back and welcome
Yeah,
all of you.
this is him. That is the that guy, and this is one on their Facebook again. That just married. I don't have the date on here. I will in a second. I think it was taken.
Okay, Gail, you said not Michael's. I see. I don't know what you're talking about there.
All right, this.
Hey, Melinda.
Look at this picture too. This was on their page here, and there's some comments they had on their page. This is about a year ago. Somebody says, "But is that looking like he hurt the child?" But you know, this monster, they're digging up the guy's backyard. Now, these apparently like 6 hours from this on. That's just that 6 hours was taken or printed up this week sometime. But the other comments are from a year ago. You know, it's no, this is a child that went missing. Somebody asked something about, is that been your child? They said, no, this is a child that went missing in our neighborhood and has gone for 5 days, and uh, no one can find him. And he is only 5 years old. So this is from Stacy. This, the husband posted that. And then, and of course, you know, down below it, people are posting thinking that he's going to be able to respond to these. When he's in prison, he's not going to be able to respond. But what I posted this for was that you can see there was stuff active on their Facebook page in regards to Michael Vaughan. They had stuff out there um, all the time. There's another picture. Let's see if yeah, this is another picture that the family had put up a year ago.
Okay, so that was the family picture.
No, this was on their Facebook page.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Yes,
Was it? Have the parents said this was taken at our home?
parents. I don't think parents are saying right now. This is just on the suspect's Facebook page. Hope the boy is back soon. These are from a year ago. People are commenting. What's going on was 1 day ago, but see, that doesn't, you know, that didn't tell me nothing, because you can post something a year ago and somebody come in an hour from now and post behind it, and it looks like you have to kind of go out, look through these, you know, and see how long ago it's been. Um, but that picture was up there uh, around the time that he did go missing. So that makes me wonder if they're using that picture for something else. You know, this is another picture that's on this Facebook. Of the reason why I posted this was an actual thing on her Facebook. It's got her pictures.
Okay.
Wait a minute, of
Okay,
a
I'm sorry.
missing and endangered person that she had posted there out of American Indian, and it's just something I'm not sure if she knows about this person or knows more about this person, but this is a thing that was on her Facebook. Go ahead.
Okay, Sleuth Mom says the photo is a photo that was taken by Brandy. It was shared by her very early into his disappearance. Now, is Brandy the mom?
I think so. Yeah, but why is it on her Facebook page? You know, that's what I'm wondering. This is a thing she puts here on her Facebook page again. Uh, I don't know. This is a time, and I tried to look at the dates on when he went missing and when her husband is posting this. This is for her husband's Facebook. Apparently, she was in the hospital, and I was trying to find exactly when that date was that she was in the hospital compared to when Michael Vaughan went missing. This is October the 18th, when she was in the hospital. Uh, so you got to think about that. Is it something that, um, I was trying to see maybe she had lost a baby around that time. You got to look at everything about this. These are just different pictures that I took of the Facebook, and then we're going to talk about a few things of them. This is another one. A picture came out August the 1st, in this same picture, but you know, if you're involved in his disappearance, why do you put all these pictures up unless you're trying to the mask the involvement? She's got a past record too. I don't know if you know that. When they arraigned her, she does have a past record. um I want to say it's assault or something like that. And this is the another image, Freeland boy missing. Now Stacy, the husband, posts this, showing that he's missing Tuesday night, and kind of like, you know
Okay.
what.
Um, I just got a text from one of our people, and she said it could be that she hit him with her SUV. That's an idea
Yeah, could be.
that she hit him. He was out in the road. She hit him, but not on purpose. But then she,
But why, if she's not intoxicated,
well,
or why would you do that
because
and do the
maybe she was
the
driving
murder?
fast
I
and
mean,
she
you
was
know what
worried
I
about it.
mean?
Gail said, I was wondering if she is being arraigned for not saying she knew he was dead because she is nuts talking crazy. She was on bond for a gun charge.
Yeah, but let's see. Here's the husband right here. I'm feeling worried about my wife. I brought her to the emergency room in Ontario, Oregon. She's not feeling well at all. She's in a lot of pain on the side of her stomach. Been praying for my baby. Feels much better. This was July 26th, and these may be true, or they may be trying to mask a date. Um, mask a date on here. This is another.
Was that the day before?
I'd have to look and see the exact date he went missing. Uh, Fun trip to Washington. And this is one that's kind of weird. They obviously they had some type of cab service they owned, and they supposedly rode a guy on a uh, took a guy on a cab ride from Washington D.C. all the way to out there where they live. Why somebody would do that, I don't know. It's just a strange. Uh,
The 26th was the
you
day
know.
before Monkey went missing. He disappeared the 27th at 6:30 p.m.
Okay.
Steve said there is a strange picture. If you look at the That is a strange picture. If you look at the background of the legs under the table and him holding what looks like a part of that table.
Yeah, I saw that too. Looks like I don't know, handhold stuff. Well, this was copied out of the county jail log out of this, and you can see they did charge Stacy also. They were not saying what they charged him with. He's charged 2 counts of something, or 1 count of something. But it does say that he is in custody, Washington County Jail, and he's 30 years old, white male. Now, They have not arraigned him yet. That's the thing that I'm wondering why, and if it could possibly be that he decided, that maybe she was talking crazy, like you said, somebody said, and they decided to, he decided to go to the police and say, hey, look, my wife did this. He buried him in the backyard, and and now the only thing they can charge him, they charged him basically. They could charge him with something, something else, but uh, a minor charge, and her also, to keep both of them in jail. If you see her there, Sarah Ann Wondra, and it does say that she is charged also with a crime, but they don't put their actual charges down there. They don't put their what they're charged with. But so I thought about that, and I thought, well, how would he be able to testify under spousal privilege? And let me read what spousal privilege is so you'll understand. Um, Here, basically, under Idaho Rule of Evidence, Rule 504, the husband wife privilege. The definition is a communication is confidential if it is made during marriage privately by any person to the person's spouse, and is not intended to disclose to any other person, and general rule of privilege. Now, what that basically, in layman terms, what that means is this: if I were to admit to my wife that I committed a felony, um, say I admitted to my wife that I stole a car, and
Is it a nice one?
or I admitted to my wife that I might kill somebody other than a child, like say I admitted to my wife that I killed a guy for something, then she cannot testify against me if we're married, because it's
What if I
spousal
want to?
privilege. Doesn't matter. It's You cannot
If you
testify.
kill somebody, I'm
You can't
telling.
not well. That's fine. They can't use it in court. It's spousal
That's
privilege.
ridiculous. If the
Well,
wife,
that is spousal privilege. You can't do that. That is what considered to be privilege within the marriage, and so that's spousal
that's a
privilege.
strange privilege.
That is spousal privilege. Or say you they arrest me, they arrest you for murdering somebody. Say you murdered my brother. I don't have a brother, but say you murdered my brother, and then they came to me and said, "Well, you know about this because she told you." I couldn't tell the police anything about it and testify because I have, or they couldn't make me do it because I have spousal privilege. Or they, none of the evidence I can't go and testify against her. That's spousal privilege. But in Idaho and around the country, they have a exception to privilege when it involves a child.
Just a
And this
child?
just involve or domestic abuse. Like,
What if you stole $1 million?
couldn't tell on me. You couldn't tell on
God.
me.
Well, I
A
probably
spousal
wouldn't.
privilege.
No, I'm kidding.
All right, this is spousal privilege. All right, this is and why can you see that up there? Mine is blocking me for some reason up at the top. I can't. These parts are blocking me for something.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Idaho Rules of Evidence, Rule 504, husband wife privilege.
All right.
Definition: communication is confidential. It is made during the if it is made during the marriage privately by any person to the person's spouse, and is not intended for disclosure to any other person. General rule of privilege: a person has privilege to prevent testimony as to any confidential communication between the person and his or her spouse made during the marriage. So if I divorced you, I could tell on you.
There is some exceptions after a divorce. Yes, you wouldn't have privilege.
Well, if you
But
murder
now,
anybody,
no, wait a minute. But during the marriage, you couldn't testify of anything that happened during the marriage. Like, say if after we got a divorce and then I did something and told you, then that's not privilege. But if I did something during the marriage and went to you in confidence and said, hey, I murdered this guy, or I stole $1 million, or, I robbed this place when this, all that's privileged. All that's privilege.
Okay, listen. Stephen Hill said,
Yes.
maybe they thought by marriage they wouldn't be able to testify against each other, and now he is worried and is turning on her for gun charges.
Well, the gun charges are a privilege. If he knows about the gun charge, that's privilege. He can't testify. None of that with a gun charge can be used against her. Anything he knows, it's all privilege. They can't even question him about it under privilege. But here I'm going to show you. Here it says, who can claim privilege? The privilege may be claimed by the person, or by the spouse on behalf of the person, or by the lawyer for the person on behalf of the person. The authority of the spouse or a lawyer to do so is presumed in the absence of evidence to the contrary. All right, but here's where it gets in. This is why I think he went to the police and said, "Look, I'll testify against her if maybe you give him some leniency. Maybe he got scared because it says here, maybe he thought they were getting close. There is no privilege under this rule, okay? Child related communications in a criminal or civil action or proceedings as to the communication relevant to an issue concerning the physical, mental, emotional condition or injury to a child, or concerning the welfare of the child, including but not limited to abuse, abandonment, or neglect of a child." And even though, see, the thing with there is the physical the physical injury of a child. So if he knows that she killed a child, being Michael Vaughan, he spousal privilege does not apply. So he could go to the police. He could say, "Look, I'll testify against her. I know this happened. If you'll give me, instead of me doing life without parole or possibly even the death penalty, I will come forward," because you never know. He may have told somebody, he may have talking to somebody about it. He may feel like that,
That's what Sleuth Mom said.
right, that he talked to somebody
Yeah.
else and they told him, "Look, you got to get ahead of this or you're going to not ever get out of prison."
Sleuth Mom said, I honestly am wondering if he told a cellmate or if the guilt was just eating him away. And Gail said, I saw her arraignment. It's for not saying where there is a dead body and on a bond already on weapons charges.
Yeah, I watched the arraignment too. And the arraignment itself, and I think I even have a copy of it here, maybe. But the arraignment, here's the thing, I don't think he was in jail until the cellmate, because if he told a cellmate, he wouldn't have, the cellmate could testify against him and they wouldn't have to use him. I think probability that he told somebody within the family that he knew something and he was scared that, whatever. Maybe he's scared of her. Maybe he was scared that he was going to get caught up into it and do prison time for the rest of his life or go death penalty. And they told him, "Hey, you need to get ahead of this. Maybe you need to talk to a lawyer, maybe whatever." So, because he's not being arraigned. Now, this might blow up and they might say, you know, she is arraigned pretty quick. They should have arraigned him too. But him not being arraigned like this, they seal the indictment is another thing. So they're trying to protect their source on where they got the information. But by them saying the information came from someone in the house, I don't think anybody was in the house except for him and her. But going to here, can you read that number 2 there?
Criminal action is a criminal action or proceeding in which one spouse is charged with a crime against person or property. The other spouse, a person residing in the household of either spouse, or a third person committed in the course of committing crime against the other spouse, a person residing in the household of either spouse.
And basically, I think what
Dang.
that means is this: if I were to assault her and put her in the hospital for like assault first, then she could testify against me, or a, a, a adult child could testify against both of us, because that includes that's trying to not, they can't declare spousal privilege or privilege because just to protect the person that beats up her or puts her in the hospital or whatever. They can't say, well, we can't testify on this because it's privilege. Said also special proceedings in the proceeding under the reciprocal enforcement in the support act concerning uh desertion or non-support. So if you're not paying your child support or you abandon your children, the other spouse can testify on that. Any civil action or proceeding by one spouse against another spouse involving a person property of the other. So if we're married here, and I use your car, or basically take it out, or sell your rings, and take them to a pawn shop, sell your rings involved in a crime, then that's different because it's something property of you.
Sing to me. I did know about spousal privilege, but I didn't realize that if I wanted to testify against him,
Yeah, or anything you say during the privilege, special
yeah, I
privilege,
know, but
is privilege. That's it.
but I thought that if I wanted to testify against you, you killed somebody, and
Mm-mm.
I mean, you talk about keeping me scared to death.
Well, the thing is, you got the spousal privilege, though. Anything I tell you in marriage is supposed to be between us, period, unless it involves a hurting of a child. That's what spousal privilege is.
But don't you?
Because wouldn't I mean, you know what I mean? It's
Well,
just
that's
with,
why so many people say, if you try to leave me, I'm going to kill you, because if I left you, you could I could testify against you. So
I
why wouldn't you
guess,
kill me?
proceeding of
I don't know.
guardianship, conservatorship, and hospitalization. There is no privilege under the rule and the communications relevant to the issue proceeding for the appointment of a guardian or conservatorship of another person for mental illness, or to hospitalize that person with mental illness. In other words, you don't have to worry about spousal privilege if I notice that Dina's standing outside in her underwear late at night talking to the moon or howling at the moon. It's okay for me to tell that to the court, uh, and they can't keep me from telling that under spousal privilege.
Why did you choose me to be out in my underwear?
Where me?
You're the only one that goes outside in your underwear.
I don't go outside in my
You did
underwear.
that one time sleepwalking.
Well, that was when I was about 10 years old. I mean,
No, that was when we were first married. You put on your gun belt and your hat and your shirt and no pants. And you went to the door, opened the door, and I said, "Where are you going?" And you said, "To work." And I said, "Don't you think you better put on your pants?" And you looked down and you took everything off and went back to bed and didn't remember a bit of it.
I still don't remember a bit of it.
Okay, so wait a minute. Somebody asked something. Tommy, Gail said, "Can't they hold him on parole or probation warrant and not arraign him till they find something?"
No, I mean, if you have all right, if you're arrested anywhere for anything, they've got to bring you before a magistrate within 7 days for an arraignment. That's just that, they can't just pick you up and or arrest you on a warrant or parole violation or whatever and just hold you until they find something to charge you. Arraigned within a certain amount of hours, unless they could hold you for all right, just say that me and her were
You
arrested.
need to get another couple.
Well, I just don't want to do it. Say me and her were arrested for bank robbery, or if we were in this situation And they could, if I was telling the police, hey man, she's nuts, she's gonna kill me, and she's killed this person, and they buried him in the backyard, and blah blah blah, then I could be held for kind of like protective custody type thing under, and you might have some more charges up there to hold me for, and they may even do a private arraignment, or they may do something where the they have a lawyer and the lawyer waives any type of preliminary hearing or whatever, but they can't hold you, just to see what until they get something. You've got to be brought before a magistrate within a certain amount of hours. Go ahead.
Time out. I'm noticing something with all your examples tonight. I'm the bad guy. I'm the one in their underwear out howling at the moon. I'm the one that killed somebody. I'm the one that robbed
I'm just trying to make a.
I mean,
I'm just trying to
hello?
I'm just trying to make a point that you can't. You can't.
Somebody on here named me Bonnie.
You can't just hold somebody, pick them up, and let's hold them in jail until we can find something to charge them with.
Gail
you can't
thought
do that.
they could hold them for 90 days on a violation
No.
before you go to court. TS said 72 hours.
72 hours is to hold you on until you have a bond hearing. And that's it. And I'll tell you why they put 72 hours, because you really, any other time they would get you the next morning for arraignment. But if you're picked up on a Friday night, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, everybody's fixing to go home, judges are at 5, it's going to be about that long till Monday morning, 72 hours.
Now, you know what I thought the 72 hours was for? Just in case they were wanted in other states, and it took a little bit to get the information.
No.
Because then you turn to lose somebody.
Nowadays, if you fingerprint somebody through APHIS, the electronic finger thing, you can find out in 6 hours if you wanted somewhere, normally. Unless the paperwork's been shuffled. There's a lot of people where the paperwork's turned in and it hasn't got to the right people yet. But it normally, so usually it's 24 hours they'll have you before an arraignment. And the arraignment is, as you know, they go before a judge or magistrate. They set their bond, or if they can get a bond, or I think they set her bond at $500,000, if I'm not sure what it was, but she was very arrogant during her bond hearing. I thought she was not worried about a thing. Seems like she's very confident that
Jukes.
She's obviously been to jail before. Right here, let's see. Let me play this one here.
A grieving community, reeling from the disappearance of the 5-year-old Michael Vaughan last July, now potentially one step closer to finding closure.
We are all very emotionally tied to this case, just as our community is. I would tell you, probably the country.
Fruitland Police Chief J.D. Huff spoke with us Sunday afternoon about a credible tip he says led authorities and rescue crews to dig up the backyard of a house in connection with Michael's death. Huff said on Monday that credible tip came from someone inside of the house.
We received a search warrant, and we started excavating the backyard of this residence due to the fact that there's potential for Michael's remains to be in this backyard.
Here's a map of the area. The house is just 4 minutes from the Vaughan family home. Police arrested 35-year-old Sarah Wandra over the weekend, who lived in the house being searched. She's charged with failure to report a death. Wandra appeared via Zoom for an arraignment Monday afternoon in Payette County.
It is alleged that you did on or about the 12th day of November of this year, here in the state of Idaho, fail to notify the coroner of a death, the death of Michael Vaughan, with the intent to prevent the discovery of the manner of death. That is a felony here in the state of Idaho. Do you understand the allegation that's been made against you?
I understand what they've said is not correct.
A prosecutor said Wandra is already on pretrial release, charged with unlawful possession of a firearm in Idaho. Court records show she was convicted of felony attempted robbery in Oregon in 2013.
I think it shows that she's a danger to the community.
A Payette County judge set Wandra's bond at $500,000. KTVB obtained the criminal complaint in the case, but the judge decided to seal the probable cause affidavit and other records. The judge, prosecution, and defense agreed. They do not want to jeopardize such a high-profile case. Chief Huff says they've fielded more than 1,500 leads. Police have not said whether they've found Michael or his remains yet. The chief told us they plan on excavating the entire backyard and digging 3 to 4 feet down.
This is arduous work. It's going to take us a while to get this done, but we're not going to stop.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.
Okay. Did y'all notice something about that I had not really paid much attention to in all this? They said she was just charged on the
12th.
The 12th. So I'm wondering if
Could he have been alive all this
could he
time?
been alive up to the 12th? I kind of doubt it. Could the information just come in through the 12th? I don't know. And there's nobody I can't find. Apparently didn't have any kids. Only people living in that house is her and him. So it's going to have to be either her or him, and she's under arrest. And he may be charged with something, but like I said, he has not been arraigned yet. So they could actually be holding him in protective custody and not really formally charged him with anything. Because if you see on that thing that I showed you, it doesn't say that he's been formally charged. He may just be being held in protective custody. And protective custody in a jail cell is they can do that, but they can't hold you in protective custody until they find something criminally to charge you with. So it's obviously that he is the person that's testifying against his wife in this case. But she's no saint. And even though she's got all kinds of Christian writing all over her page, she's been convicted of armed robbery. She's been had a weapons charge on her. You see her with her hands like this. That's, if anybody knows anything about body language, when you're sitting there talking with your hands like that, you're putting up a barrier between you and that other person that you don't care what they're saying. You don't
Or you're cold.
No, she's not cold in there. But anyway, it looks like to me that she is saying basically, I'm not worried about what you're saying, and because I can't imagine that she wonders really. She never says, if I'm in an arraignment like that, I'm going to say, I want to know where my wife's at. She's separated. I want to know what you're doing this. Why are you charging me with that? I'm not guilty. I want to turn whatever. She's not saying anything. She's like been there before and done that before. So, but they have tipped their hand by saying that they got the information from somebody within the house, because the way I understand it is it's just her and her husband. Do y'all see that, or am I the only one that sees that out here? That maybe it came from that they're not arraigning the husband, and complete defiance. You're right, Stephen. They're not arraigning the husband outright here. And, if it was him, if he was equally involved in this and not giving information, he would be arraigned right after she was, or right before she was. She would be arraigned, and they would have a charge of some sort on him, and they would set their bond ready to go to trial. But, just not reporting a death,
Stephen said he heard it was a renter.
Yeah, the house was being rented, right? The house was being rented them. But what do you mean, like somebody that is renting the house now?
Maybe renting a room. Or renting the house now. Yeah.
Well, it could be, but you get in the back the same way. Why isn't Stacy being arraigned?
Gail said the news said a cousin gave the tip. The news media did.
I haven't seen that, but why isn't he being arraigned? That's all I want to know. Why isn't he being charges being
They rented
brought
out a
out?
room. They rented out a room.
Okay, but why isn't Stacy, the main one, being brought out and arraigned at the same time? That's what I'm saying. I don't know. If it's a cousin or whatever, where have y'all heard this, that it's a cousin or somebody written out the room? Because I've looked and watched and searched out, and I can't find anything where any law enforcement, anything other than there's a lot of rumors out there from all of these sites and true crime stuff out there, but I have yet to see anything like, you know what I mean?
Saying to me says they have so little at this point, Thomas.
Yeah, I agree. They got more than they're letting us know, because when they seal that indictment, if that or that charge, the affidavit, if the affidavit would have been out there, one, it would have told us who gave the information, even if it was a confidential informant. They would tell us why Stacy was arrested, or if he was arrested. The affidavit would have a whole lot of information in there, because I've done hundreds of affidavits for search warrants, and the search warrant affidavit has got to convince. When you write an affidavit, you've got to be able to convince a judge or magistrate that you have a legal right to violate that person's Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. And the bar is set extremely high for a search warrant. If you just have a drug dog hit on your car, and the officer goes out and searches the car, and say he finds evidence maybe that, it's a rolling car. It's not as much it doesn't have to have a search warrant for you to search your car if a drug dog hits on your car. I got into a big argument with a guy on Facebook the other day that said, you're extremely wrong on that. Go back and find somebody that's a police officer that could tell you the truth. Well, I went and told him that I've done that for 33 years, and over 20 years of that, I was in narcotics and done hundreds of searches. If a drug dog alerts on your car, that is probable cause, and the Supreme Court says it is, for them to search your car without a warrant. But now, if you go to your house, the house is different. It can't move. You have a greater expectation of privacy. So for them to search the house and dig up the yard, and they're going to be digging up property, destroying that through the backyard as a part of this warrant. They're going to have higher standard of probable cause. It can't be just reasonable suspicion. It's got to be probable cause. And when he writes that affidavit up, he's got to say when, where, how, and who told you that. And not just, he can't have somebody saying, well, I heard that they may have him buried in the backyard. That ain't going to get it. You got to have somebody saying, this person did it. I saw the body in that yard. I saw them buried in the backyard, or, something. They just can't say, well, I kind of heard they might have did it like that. They got to, I remember a case in particular a drug warrant, where the informant told me, I saw them put a bunch of drugs, bury it in the front yard. I saw them put it beside this and describe the location exactly. And he said, I saw it buried underground. That informant gave a sworn affidavit to me. And then I did the search warrant. If the informant is reliable, and let me explain this, it could have something to do with this, but a person is deemed reliable, and I'm going to tell you how they do it for drugs. Normally, to prove an informant is reliable, they'll give an informant some money, send him in a place that's dealing drugs. He goes in there and buys drugs and brings the drugs back out to you, and you make a case on it. Then that person is reliable. If he's given you information in the past that has led to an arrest, then you can deem that person is reliable. And then you can act on his information just like he saw it. Like if he tells you, I went in there and I saw 100 pounds of marijuana, you get a search warrant on that information. My reliable informant went in there and he observed 100 pounds of marijuana. This reliable person had proven his reliability on X amount of occasions in the past. And, you have to establish that. So, if this is an informant that did that, then that's fine. But if it's the husband, which I think it is, may not be, but if the husband has is giving his wife up in this case, then that you still have to deem him if it's credible or not.
Sleuth Mom said, in a way, I'm glad they sealed it, especially if they hadn't got who killed him in custody yet. Steve said, disclosure for more charges against him, such as the actual murder. Sleuth Mom said, police have said they need more tips still, and they believe this could be more individuals who had knowledge of his death. She told them that when they arrested her, Sleuth Mom said 100% have more than crazy ramblings about this.
I personally think that she'll be charged with this murder. I do. And I think once they held her in there to keep her from destroying evidence or maybe that's why she's charged with what she's charged with. Or maybe she would go to convince somebody else of not testifying against her. So I think that she's been held on $500,000 bond on a charge that failure to report a death. I think it's a felony, but probably 1 to 10 years, I think. So I don't know. Maybe somebody could look that up for me, or what class it is felony. I don't know in Idaho, but here's the thing. I think when they find the body, I think they will charge her with murder. I really do.
I think more than one's going to be charged.
Well, maybe. I think, I just want to know why they have not arraigned him. If he's not the source, why haven't they arraigned him? That to me it's a big clue that he is the source. I mean, why not go ahead if he's not the source? Let's go ahead and arraign him for the same thing. You could arraign him for both. Failure to report death, both of them. But why not? And they may do it in the next couple of days. They may arraign him, but they should have gone ahead and arraigned him on the fact that I don't know. Yeah, our little girl Gracie here. I don't know if we told you about it, but she's got congestive heart failure. I think we did last time we were on.
Goodness.
And she is we're giving her heart pills and giving her some stuff to help her quit coughing and hacking at night. There's nothing to do about it.
And as long as she's happy, we're not going to have her put to sleep.
As long as she can get around and do her thing and she's not in pain, we'll just keep her, keep her. Like we were real worried about her.
So Sleuth Mom said, sadly, I read somewhere that he had been investigated in the past for trafficking, and it devastates me to think about the purposes they may have taken him.
Yeah, and the fact, too, that it says in the warrant that they arrested her for not reporting a death, it indicates maybe this is like recently this happened, but I don't know. It's differently. Trafficking of what type? I think probably they're thinking about human trafficking. I don't know if you saw this. They arrested in West Alabama, and nowadays, and we got to be careful how we consider what we think about when we hear human trafficking. They arrested 6 people the other day in West Alabama for human trafficking. I read the thing that came through the news, and what they said is this: these people were basically communicating with what they thought was a 15 to 14-year-old girl in hopes to come down here to Alabama to have sex with her, and turns out to be a female police officer. So they charged them all with human trafficking. Now, if that was the case, we did that big child protected, we called it Operation Child Safe, where we arrested over 29 men, 28 men and 1 female, and we never charged any of them with human trafficking. We could have, I guess, but that is that is a federal charge. Most of them are charged through the federal system, and the thing with charging people through the federal system is time is day for day. There's no good time in the federal system. They used to be federal system had a way of getting lesser time, but not now. If you get 10 years in federal prison, you'll do 10 years to the day. And so, but they charge you with human trafficking, and that bumps it up to even more. So, I think it's a heavier charge through the federal system. So, you know, I wish we could have at the time charged every one of these guys that we had with human trafficking, and because that is the current charge they're doing through this. Now, what I think of when I think of human trafficking in my brain is I'm thinking of people are running girls for prostitution. They're running girls for using. Basically, they're saying these girls are being housed and they can't leave. They're trapped in this thing, so they're or maybe they're being held against their will, and they're being forced into prostitution, forced into and other things like that. And you know, they're not getting paid to do this. They're just being forced to do that. So that's what we call human trafficking. That's what I think about when I think about human trafficking. But under the law, human trafficking is a whole different thing now. You can get charged with human trafficking if you're arrested for prostitution. If you get arrested, if you arrest a bunch of guys, charge them all with human trafficking. If you get somebody charged with trying to come meet a child for sex, they charge them with human trafficking. And hey, if it gets them more time in prison, we don't need those type of people on the street. I'm all about it. But that is what the difference is. If some people hear human trafficking like I do, and you think, oh, they're held in a bondage, servitude, they've got to do this type of thing.
Okay, so Gail said, what about the man Chris Hansen has his own TV show, To Catch a Predator? That's one of the council members at the town where Tommy was working in police work called Tommy and said, hey, have you seen this show? Do we have a problem? And Tommy said, well, we don't know if we got a problem because we've never done a sting. And he said, then let's put one together.
And I put this sting together and ran it for about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months. Yeah, we could have charged them. And T.S. Jackson said some Russian operations, right? We actually had a Russian type human trafficking. We even had the State Department came down and worked with this, where the thing is they would get all of these and advertise. They'd put all these palm trees over the beach and everything, and get Russian girls to come in, and they would put them to work in these souvenir shops, and they get paid $8 an hour. They take $2 an hour, and that could be construed as a type of human trafficking. But another thing they would do, they would actually run prostitution rings, and they would use these girls would be they would be very good looking girls out here doing prostitution for $1,000 an hour, but these girls wouldn't be getting anything. They would just basically hold their passport. What have you pointing at?
Please, Mom, read what she said up there.
read it there, that there was a lead to the gun charges. Was my understanding that they're investigating them for, but
Could not nail it down and arrested them for guns instead. They were looking at them for the Michael Vaughan disappearance. So somebody had said something.
I think their car too. I think the car was a big giveaway. The car was seen in the area. They noticed this car was around the bend. They noticed the wife had some gun charges. It wasn't like Snow White, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. It would be great to see if the affidavit. That's what I'm saying. I think that they sealed it just because of that. You know,
Okay.
we
here.
just don't know.
Come here.
We just don't know until the affidavit gets unlocked what will be what all the evidence was. You know, it's just like I'm wondering. Then, does anybody know if? I guess we do have the affidavit in the Morphew case. It finally came out, and that's why when I read the affidavit, I was like, man, I'd have never got a warrant on that, because you gotta time down more than just speculation. You know, 130 page. I've heard of people having a 135-page affidavit. You know, that's, to me, my judge would have had a fit if I'd have came in with a 10-page affidavit, because he wanted something short, sweet, and to the point. Because he told me once, my judge is dead now, but he told me once, he said, you don't want to put so much in your affidavit that the lawyer gets a hold of the defense and he crucifies you on your affidavit. You tell him just what you need to get the search warrant. In other words, you have to tell them what, like I would say, we're going to this address. The house is a blue house at the corner of X Street and this street. The a reliable confidential informant in the past 72 hours or 24 hours, I would not give them, I would not calm it down, because see, people that deal drugs, they're going to go back and think, well, they say, if I would say in the last 2 hours, they would know who the confidential informant was, and probably having something happen to him. But if you say a confidential informant within the last 24, 48 hours, then they don't know who could have been through that door if they're dealing a serious amount of drugs. And purchase drugs out of this location. I secured the drugs, brought them back to me, was wearing a wire or whatever. And, the drugs tested positive for cocaine or whatever it would be. And then he just wanted the basic information. So the more they put in these search warrant affidavits, is the harder the defense is going to go back and try to tear those warrants apart. And, that's why I'm telling you, my judge would have, I've had him take a search warrant affidavit and take a red pen and lined outlines. You don't need this. You don't need that. And say, now go retype it up and bring it back. And because not that we didn't put enough information, we put too much information. But never know what the the magistrate or judge in that jurisdiction wants. He may want all of that. But I still believe that the husband is giving information just because they have not arraigned him, and not for any, probably just for that the reason, because they have not arraigned him yet. And I may be completely wrong. But I want to know, why hasn't he been arraigned yet? And did they arraign him in another county? Did they arraign him before a city judge? I don't know, but I know that he is not You know, I haven't seen, because I believe the media would be all over that the husband was arraigned, you know, at a certain time, you know, and this is what, and have video of it, just like they did her, because apparently this arraignment that we have video of is not in the federal court. This is a state court. Are y'all seeing that too, or I don't know. Um, but y'all still think it's maybe a cousin, neighbor, or somebody living in the house that could get information. You know, say they had somebody that moved into the house these people used to live in, and say they found blood all over one of the bedrooms, you know, how would they charge her with failure to report a death and not him? Or how would they charge her with that anyway? You got to have some evidence other than the fact, uh, you know, who says he has been in since last November. You saying that the man's been in jail since last November? I didn't get that from where. Let me go back up here to his thing. Let's see. Where do y'all see it that it's been in? He's been in since last November. And what's he in jail for? I don't. Y'all are telling me stuff I can't understand that. You're saying that he's been in jail since last November? I don't. Do you see that, Dana? I mean, this is not
I would
the
think
arrest affidavit's not there.
I would have thought if he was in jail since last November, that would have hit the news last.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been on this anyway. But it's not
No,
what.
he's been there since spring of this year. Not sure which months, but he got arrested for gun charges.
Is it her or him? Because he was. That's the charge that she had on her, right?
Sleuth Mom says, "Give me a second. I'll get the dates."
1 second here.
He's out now, T.S. Jackson said. I didn't think he was out.
I thought he's in jail right now. Let's see here. This is where, you know, both of them are around a car. Because see, I've gotten. Let's see. He took this picture of him. I'm trying to. They just.
Locum Life says no. It was last spring on gun charges. Stacy got arrested.
The
He
husband.
was in jail still as of 2 days ago. I think I said that right. The Locum Life.
Let's see what this
Thank
is.
you. I've not seen you comment before, so are you new?
Let's see. Well, does he have a computer inside jail, or these in 2021? He commented on his Facebook page.
Well, that would have been.
Yeah.
That would have been. No, I don't think it's November.
I don't understand this. We're buffing again. I don't know why. That's not what I understood. I may be completely wrong. So y'all are saying that he's been in jail this whole time.
Well, I'm glad you didn't stop yourself from commenting, Locum.
Don't stop yourself from commenting. I'm no expert here. What I say may be completely wrong, totally wrong. So I want to get it right. This is his jail record here, but it doesn't say they holding him with no? They're holding him basically. If he's been in jail that long, this case hasn't come up to court yet. See, I can't tell the charges. They don't have the charges out like other places. Other places say what they're charged for, and but these don't. These don't say. Let's see what this one is too.
So okay, so Look My Life said she's laughing. She said, I went to the Washington County Jail and searched a few days ago and it showed him still in custody.
Right, but is he? When was he arrested? I don't. The first one I have here. The first one says, the case status was open, and then I went to the next one and it said it's pending. So I don't know what that means. I don't. We see her here is his wife. Hers is open also. One pending and one
Sleuth
open.
Mom said arrested 5/6/22. That's what Sleuth Mom says. She
But
she
does
just
it?
went and checked.
Why does it say on that arrest if they were released from custody or bonded out and then rearrested, or well, he could be making a deal, or he could be in there and going to be charged with something this also, but there's no information on him being charged with this crime. It doesn't even really mention
Stephen
about
Hill,
it in all of the news that I've seen.
Stephen Hill says same case number on both.
Then on both of them.
It just says on both. I don't know if he's talking about both arrests. Weapons felony is what it was.
Yeah, but she's charged with now this other felony. She's charged with the failed to report a death. I don't know. I guess we'll find out when they do find his body or the remains. One is if they're going down 4 feet in the backyard, that's a long way. Somebody had to tell them that they saw the body being buried,
Stephen Hill has 3 different numbers.
Let me look up something real quick.
Sleuth Mom says, sorry, I was wrong. The actual arrest date was 4/13/22. 5/6 was the court date. Can you post your email?
Okay, one second here.
No, I did it once. I'll do it again real quick. Missing live stream at gmail.com.
I had something right here. I just asked Google if Stacy had been charged, and it came up yes with let me do this again because it for some reason it didn't come up with the right one. All right. Was arrested Friday the 11th. Executed a search warrant. Sarah was arrested. Yeah, that makes me wonder why he wasn't charged also. It doesn't say anything about him being charged with any of that, only her. Is it because he was in jail and she did it while he was in jail? That's another thing, very well could have done it while he was in jail. But see, it doesn't. In none of the reports, it says Stacy is charged with anything from Michael Vaughan case. Nothing. It just says the Sarah. So it could have been if it could be that Stacy was in jail when all this happened. Human trafficking type thing. I don't know. There's no information that I can find on him being charged with anything. Only her. I mean, he's been charged also, but with some things. But since we don't have the affidavit, and there's no, I mean, will y'all go back and try to find out anything on that he has actually been charged with? I mean, I can, I was assuming that they were charged with the same, or at least charged the same day. I was mistaken with the fact that because I can't read what I'm getting from their jail records. They don't tell me dates or anything. At least not. I must not be looking at the right spot. But or somebody could send me where and how they were arrested, and see on they use a different type of program than what I'm used to. The programs around here and all over the South, they'll let you see the picture of them, tell you what the charges are, tell you if they were released or if they're still there in jail, and what their bond was. I mean, it's pretty detailed. So we may be looking at the fact that he was not uh, even charged, that she did all of this stuff um, while she was out there. And here's another thing too that could have happened we're not thinking of. If he's been in jail all this time, and a lot of people will talk on these jail. When you call the jail and talk to somebody, your phone calls are being recorded and they're being monitored. So um, maybe she said something on the phone call with him that what happened, and they're responding from that. I don't know. It's That's why the affidavit's been. She may have told him on the phone call, "Hey, I did this," and it's he's there, and he's in the bird or whatever, and or he's buried out there, and
Mary L. said, I heard that another man lived in the house too, but I don't know how long he lived there with them or with just her. Hey, if you'll put your little thing up, I'll send you what was just sent.
it's constantly on here.
Well, showing is the iPad.
Well, no, that's the thing. I don't know what to tell you. I have this is always on. I don't know what to airdrop me anything. I don't know.
All right, well, here, let me see if I can forward it to you.
I don't know what to tell you.
Forward to Green Machine or Life?
Wait,
the missing.
hey, I've got it
It's
on
under
here.
the missing.
Contacts everyone. Airdrop everyone now. See if you can.
Okay.
Now it says yellow up there. I don't know why that's saying yellow.
Okay.
Google Chrome.
All right. Well, here, let me. Just go to our mail.
Yeah.
And you want me to send it to your email or
Now, hold on just a minute. Let me go to mail.
because it's
I'll just go to our mail.
on the missing? I've got it open. I've already looked at it. So, were you still going to be able to see it?
I don't know. Just saying. Yeah, hold on.
Okay. All right. Sleuth Mom, Tommy got it.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me look at this. Y'all can see me looking at the computer, but I'm not going to be.
Page 7 has his criminal record on it, she said. So there's several pages. Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go. Goodness gracious.
All of
Gracie.
them are convicted felons. That's the thing. Is insufficient funds and things like that.
You can't post it on there?
I'm not going to do that.
Oh, okay. It's quiet.
Quite a bit of things on there, but it says arrest 0 up there at the top. That's kind of weird. I still BC, the dog is sick. Little dog. She's 12 years old, Yorkie Chihuahua mix, and she's got congestive heart failure, and that's why she's hacking around and
Is what he is in jail for has
No
no connection
connection.
to my monkey.
Yeah, but what I'm wondering is if now that he's in jail, I mean, they could, if they would have charged him with failure to report a death also, then I think the news would have picked up on that and said also the husband was charged with that too, but they didn't. So obviously, maybe that he may be telling the prosecution something in order to not get sentenced big time on these other charges or get caught up in something, or they may be a situation where somebody else is given the information and he is just the innocent party in this, but by not knowing what he knows about it and what he's willing to share, we don't know. It's just too much unknown right now because the warrant, the affidavit is frozen. We can't see it. So I really apologize for not having all the information clarified here because I'm never going to try to point y'all in a different direction or say something that that's true that may not be true. And in this case, one is I failed to understand that he was still in jail. Two, that maybe he wasn't the one that gave the information, or maybe that in a phone call between her and him from the jail, information was gotten that how all this happened. So we really don't know because the affidavit is frozen. But as it goes along, and then we can, talk about it again. I just wanted to mention it tonight because we have been covering this case since it happened, and of course, he's been in our prayers that that we have every day hoping that he'd be found alive.
And I can promise y'all that Tommy has done his. I mean, I'm constantly hearing the news reports, and he's studying, and he's telling me things.
But with this being him in jail still, we're not getting the affidavit. Her in jail, the spousal privilege thing. It was just really, really, but even the spousal privilege aspect of it, before you say that I told you the absolute truth about it, I would ask you to consult an attorney completely about anything, because I'm not a lawyer. I had a lot of police experience, but policing in Alabama is different than policing in Idaho or policing in Florida or anywhere else. The main work in the streets pretty much all the same, but the law can be different from one state to the next. Just like marijuana is legal in Colorado, and they will put you in jail in Alabama. Marijuana is legal in Ohio, they'll put you in jail in Tennessee. Or if you're inside Nashville, then the city has said if they want to put you in jail, just write you a arrest citation if you have less than 2 ounces on your person. But the law in Tennessee says you can't possess 1 seed. So I'm not claiming to be 100% right. And so I want you, if you have any question, you should consult a lawyer about it. Seal, we basically lived in Alabama for a long period of time. I policed in North Alabama and South Alabama. We actually live in an RV full time right now, and we travel the United States. Now, currently tonight, we're staying in our RV on her father's farm in Tennessee, but we actually, and I don't know, since we're running an hour and 30 minutes here, so I'm going to show you for one, and TS Jackson can share with this too. We have a RV channel, a YouTube channel that we publish 2 videos a week over there, and this is the emblem from the channel, but this is the actual how you find our channel. Is right there is our web page. It's called the 1 Million Mile Road Trip, and TS, if you got that a screenshot or whatever on our how to get to it, to the link on how to get to that channel, I'd appreciate you put it up. Or if anybody's got it. But we put out 2 videos a week, one on Wednesday night and one on Sunday night, and we occasionally do a live stream. What?
I was just going to say, our kids grew up in Orange Beach, on the beach. For 25 years, that's where we lived the most of our time. Orange Beach, Alabama. Most people think it's Florida, but it's Alabama.
Yeah, you'll go down to Alabama. Runs all the way to Fort Morgan. But if you haven't checked out our other channel, I would appreciate it if you go over and subscribe to it. We're building on almost 1,100 subscribers over there, and we're really hoping we can get more. Of course, more is when they, start paying us for ads on that.
Seal, we are neighbors, being in Tennessee.
Where do you live at?
Not the address, because we won't come visit. Not unless you invite us.
No. Oh, you love Fort Morgan? Yeah, I agree. We love it out there too.
We had a house on the beach out there when we were in it. What, in the 80s? We did, yeah, in the
Yeah,
80s.
my dad used to have a house on the beach in Fort Morgan,
She's in Mississippi.
Mississippi. Oh yeah, you are neighbors. Um, yeah, we spend a good bit of time still in Alabama, South Alabama, because that's where our doctors are and stuff down there. Um, well, listen, we do appreciate everybody coming tonight. I'm sorry for the mix-up. I'm really confused about all this with where is Stacy, the husband, and if he's in jail and if he's been charged with any of this and how he is in relation to this, and then how it also that she is. So we will look at do more research, check in every single day, and try to find and hopefully here's the thing you got to think about. They're taking that soil out from there and putting it in a dump truck, and then they're going through and sifting the soil out to find out if they can find any human remains. So that tells me they're thinking that he's been dead for a long time. If not, then why would they have to sift the soil? Because your bones are going to be, if you've been dead a couple of months, you still have probably a fully developed corpse, especially if they bury him underground 3 or 4 feet. It's still cold underground there. It's about 55 degrees, but you'd still have all kinds of bugs and stuff that would get to him. But you would still have probably a full skeletal remains anyway. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody coming tonight, and let's keep at this and see if we can find out any more about this, and hopefully they will end up charging the right person and give this family some closure, because even with these arrests going on, the family is still wondering because they don't have remains, and until they have the remains so they can put him to rest, they're not going to be fully able to say that this case is closed out. So we do appreciate y'all coming, and we do thank you, and we hope to see you back next week. And if you check out our other channel, like we said, there's a lot over there that that what we're doing and where we're going and what part of the country that we're seeing. So we really appreciate it.
Thank y'all for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you very much.
And TS will be praying for you. Beach Bum will be praying for you that you get well soon.
Absolutely.
And thank y'all all.
All right. Good night. We love y'all.